What's going on, everybody? Joel here from State 48 Exotics. Today's video, I just kind of wanted to go over a quick question that I was asked most recently about pairing females back to back, like year to year, and when you give females breaks and just kind of and etc. And quick little mention to Ray over there at Euphoric Reptiles. Love this shirt, love this color. This is like one of my favorite colors. I feel like that's not a very normal color. You know, usually you get your blacks and your whites, you know, for reptile shirts, stuff like that. So yeah, pumped on this color. This is legit. Also, Pomona is nearing. So can't wait to see everybody in Pomona. But yeah, so let's just wander into the snake room, I guess. All right, so the question that I was asked was, how do you know when to put a female like back into the breeding program, right? Like, do you give females a year off, or do they go back-to-back years, and, you know, etc. So the answer to that question for me is, with most of my answers, it depends. And that's generally how I answer almost every single question. That might have a little bit to do with my schooling, but it really does depend. And so for me, it depends is on how well the snake is bouncing back. I have kind of two snakes here that I was going to show. One that's bounced back really well, one that hasn't really bounced back as well as the other. And so likely what I'm going to end up doing is the one that bounces back really well will probably go again this year, and the one that hasn't, unless things start really ramping up for her, I doubt she'll go again this year, which I'm completely fine with, because really it's all about, like, you know, snake lives matter, right? So it's all about the wellness and the health of the animal. Not only should that just be your priority and have nothing to do with this, but the other side of that is these are expensive animals, right? And so why would you mistreat them in a way that's going to cost you in the long run? So that's just like, that's silly to me on two factors. And when something is silly, just even on one factor, I try not to do it, but two factors, like, that just doesn't make sense. It's gonna harm the animal, and then B, it's gonna harm you financially by trying to force this animal to do it. Her likely, you know, she could get egg bound, she could slug out, like, it, you know, I don't know. It's just a mess. So without further ado, I'm just gonna grab one of these snakes that bounce back really well. Before we really snag that snake, just wanted to give a shout out to Sticker Mule. Got the tape. I got a lot of tape. I misjudged how much tape 1,500 feet is, right? No, I don't even know how much tape I ordered anymore, but I have freaking 5 rolls of these. So anybody that orders a snake from me in the foreseeable future is going to get some State 48 tape. So that's kind of cool. All right, so here we go. We have Athena. This is the clown that is the mother to the most recent clutch that was just actually hatched out here. It was bred by a leopard, yellow belly, double het clown pied. That is the father of this clutch. This is the mother. And so we are at like 70 days since she laid. And she is already packing on the weight. She's actually only 100 grams off of her laying, her post-lay weight, her pre-lay weight, like prior to ovulation and stuff like that, because she's a warrior. This snake eats like my reticulated pythons. Like, she just puts down food, and because of that, she gets her weight back really quick. You know, I fed her 3 days ago. I would assume that she would actually probably eat again already. Like, she's a heavy eater, she's a strong eater, and she actually has bred back-to-back years now, the past 2 years, 2 seasons for us. And so, you know, I might let her have the year off, but it kind of just depends on what she wants to do. You know, if she goes off feed again and she's really looking like she's looking for a male, you know, I'll probably end up pairing her up, because I always go off of, you know, the snakes know better than me, because generally speaking they do. The snakes generally know a lot more than I do about them, because I'm just not really massively experienced, and I'm not a snake. So that's kind of my twofer there, I guess you'd call it. So I guess to answer the question is know your snakes. Know your snakes really well. Know your snakes so well that you know when they're acting weird, when they should be eating and they're not eating, and that's kind of weird. How they act when they're in shed, how they act when they're not in shed, just knowing your snakes, I think, is going to be the best answer to that question. And the only way to know your snakes is to interact with your snakes. And so the answer, in my opinion, to the question of when do you know if you need to give the snake a year off or if she can go again for the next breeding season, I think is really going to be down to a couple of factors. It's going to be down to the weight. The snake really has to get that weight back. And so that's why it's very important to weigh the snakes prior and then post lay, and then again before you maybe want to start the breeding season again to see if that weight is back. And if the weight's back, I really feel like the snake is probably ready. But then if you're still kind of on the fence with that, I think it's kind of just up to the animal, and knowing how the animal interacts and moves and, its feeding cycle and blah, blah, blah. Like I can pretty much tell you how every one of these snakes in here is gonna eat. Like, I almost have it down now to where I know where, if this snake ate 6 days ago, they're probably not going to eat again. Or this snake ate 3 days ago, I bet I could feed her again right now and she would eat, So it comes down to, a little bit of experience with your group and a little bit of common sense when it comes down to, is the snake healthy? Is it ready to go again? So that's kind of, I guess, my 2 cents on that subject. And this is a prime example to a snake that I know will be ready again for this upcoming breeding season. Okay, so this is the other girl that is going to kind of be the opposite example. I'm not 100% sure if she's going to be able to make it this year, though it's really early. I mean, the eggs she laid hadn't even hatched yet, so it's been less than 55 days for her. But she's not really showing me the huge feeding response that I really expect out of her. She is in shed right now, so she's looking a little dark, and I don't really want to mess with her that much. But this is a pinstripe pied girl. She was bred to a yellow belly pied or my coral glow pied, so it's kind of a who's your daddy's clutch. Actually, we'll be seeing that in the next probably week. That clutch should be tipping out, but you can kind of tell, right? I don't know if we can really tell. The lighting in here has actually gotten so much better. Tooting my own horn here. But you can kind of tell through her backbone. I feel like her backbone is still, pretty protruding, I guess I would call it. It almost looks like she's a reverse V with the V going out towards the dorsal. And that's not really something I would like to see. But we're still super early on in this breeding process. I don't start pairing snakes until February now, because that's just seemingly where my season starts, is in February. So I don't even know what the months are right now, because I don't like doing math. However far it is from August 5th right now until February-ish. However many months that is, I would assume at least that's 4 or 5, I don't know, 6 maybe. So pretty far off. So she has a long way to go and plenty of feeding right now. But if this stayed this way, this would be the example of a snake that I wouldn't pair again this coming up season, because I just don't feel like the weight, even though she is of size, this snake is 1,700 grams right now, she is technically of size, but she's not back to that power weight that she had prior to that. And so I would give her the year off. And that's another, I feel like kind of maybe insight into that is I want the snakes to not just be of size again. I want them to be of the size they were. And if they're not, then I'm just probably not going to pair them again that season. All right, everybody, that's kind of, I feel like, my 2 cents on that. Let me know down below what y'all think about that. I know that there's 1,000 ways to raise a ball python, and there is even more ways, I feel like, to breed a ball python. So give me your guys' advice. What do you guys do when it comes to pairing animals back-to-back years? Do you always give them a year off? Do you pair them again? Yeah, let's just, I don't know, open up a little bit of a dialogue. I hope I can learn something from this, and I hope everybody else has something to, I guess, take away from that. But without further ado, I hope you all are having a great morning, night, evening, whenever you may be watching this. And until next time, we'll see y'all later.